Yo, welcome to Highly Questionable. We got Izzy Gutierrez. We got Mike Golic Jr. putting on for Stephen Godfrey. Don't nobody love me that much. Let's keep going.
Do you trust Giannis and the Bucks now?
All right, so the Milwaukee Bucks put that beat them down on the Heat. Right now, they were hitting basically everything they shot in the first half. Bryn Forbes, who you may not have heard of before, hit his first 5 3-pointers in the first half. One more, and he was going to have whether they could beat Miami because of what we saw happen in the bubble last year. Couple points on that. One, some things about the bubble are going to prove to have been anomalous, and one of them seems to have been Tyler Hero because we barely even see him get to play anymore. But number two, this Milwaukee team is not the same one that was in the bubble. Like adding Drew Holiday, there's a big difference there. Chris Middleton now at the point where he can get his own shot. That is a big difference. So I felt pretty good about them already. I don't know if it changes just because they had a lights out shooting night at home.
Yeah, I mean, to properly respect the question, I believed in the Bucks before this game and before this series, and deep down in my heart, believe that they're going to win the series, even though people in Miami forced me to say other things. What happened yesterday was, I mean, it's really shocking to see more of Jimmy Butler struggling, right? Because the one thing, if you're a Heat fan and you say, hey, you know what, they lost by one possession in overtime, Jimmy Butler was bad, he's going to come back and have a heck of a bounce back. So is Bam Adebayo. Jimmy did not. Jimmy looked bad. He hadn't played against the Bucks all year long during the regular season, so he's just now getting a feel for them. And he said before the series, he's like, I'm ridiculously locked in. I'm so locked in. I remember watching him blow a putback layup in game one, thinking to myself, he's too locked in. Like, he's too tense. He's too uptight about carrying this team. And it looks like it. And they just don't look like a free-flowing team. And the things that they were able to do in the bubble was just focus and accomplish the task, whether it be defending Giannis, whether it be running your offense properly, or whether it be just Jimmy focusing and getting to the line. I don't know if just fans in Milwaukee or a different building changes that. I just think they've been off kilter all season long. You will see more moments like you have in Game 2 than you would from last year's bubble reoccurring this year. It's just not the same exact team with the same rhythms.
Yeah, it's not like I believe that Miami from the bubble was a fluke last year. I just think it's hard to replicate given the personnel and the circumstances. Like bringing up the bubble, bringing up him not seeing Milwaukee during the regular season is a reminder that the battle of attrition is undefeated in all of this. And Miami was one of those teams that suffered greatly with the turnaround, with the way that things went in a year that was another outlier. Now, two in succession, because this Milwaukee team, while yeah, they're probably not going to shoot like that again in this performance, was, I believe, top 5 in field goal percentage and 3-point percentage during the regular season. Like, this is kind of what they do on their side. The interesting part for me is going to be for Milwaukee, because I hear both of you guys, and I understand a lot of people have looked at them to maybe come out of the East. But I don't even know if we've set the bar that high for them, because after last year, it feels like all they've got to do is slay the boogeyman here, and everything that happens after can be excused one way or another. You've got an MVP hopeful in Embiid on the Sixers. We know what the Nets are built up to be. And so this felt like the series that Milwaukee could kind of put all the chips in and say, we got to send a loud message here. And then everything after this gets to just be about basketball and not the recent past in the bubble.
Yeah, kind of, sort of, right? Because I do agree that Miami in particular would be a hurdle for them to jump. But given the regular season records that they put up in not getting to the NBA Finals in 2019 and in 2020, I don't care if they play the Nets or the Monstars. If they lose in the second round, Mike Budenholzer is getting fired, and we're going to talk about how it is the Giannis ain't built for it. Even though the issue isn't that he's not built for the postseason, is that he's not built to be a guy that we want him to be. He's like damn near 7 feet tall and can do all those things. But no, we need more, buddy. You got to be slinky and get last-second shots.
Who needs a win more tonight, the Lakers or the Clippers?
Oh, man, we are doing such overreaction theater. We're making full declarations about the Bucks in the first question, and now this one, we are getting ready to bury somebody. Who needs the win more? And the answer is so transparently obvious, though. The Clippers need that win a bit more. If the Lakers lose Game 2 against Phoenix, they go home for Game 3. If the Clippers are 0-2 and then going into Dallas, oh, no. That is bad news for them. And one thing we always have to remember, because we seem to forget this, it's not like the Clippers have ever won anything. Like, we have no resolve that they have demonstrated to let us feel like we can rely on them in a circumstance like that they go straighten up their backs and they going to get everything right. There's no reason for us to think that about that team. So for the Lakers, you want to win Game 2. And Chris Paul said he hurt a crack in his shoulder, so it kind of feels like you better win Game 2. but you can still do okay if you don't. If the Clippers lose game 2, oh man, here we go again.
Let's see, the Lakers have the recent glow of the championship from last year, about every built-in excuse in the world, and the fact that they just came up through the play-in tournament and somehow were still a favored 7 seed. They're good in all of this. They've got the LeBron James excuse that we make about probing early in series, so we're locked in there. What do the Clippers have? They have an offseason where one of their stars could opt out, and at the very least give us a headline to talk about, even if we don't think much is going to happen with Kawhi Leonard. You've got everything from last year, all the excuses that we made about you and the lack of continuity and the injuries, and the bubble season evaporated into thin air and replaced with the stink of you walking into this postseason being accused of tanking at the end to try and dodge a matchup that you didn't want. And, oh, by the way, you've got Steve Ballmer waiting in the wings, who I have a feeling is just itching to do something crazy if you keep being the team across town that gets embarrassed in the face of the Lakers. So, yeah, I'm with Bomani. This one is pretty easily the Clippers.
Yeah, what's at stake here if you just look at each respective team? Like the Lakers, I mean, I don't care how much of a diehard Lakers fan you are, you have to understand the difficulties of repeating. LeBron's done it one time. It's just not the easiest thing to do in the world, especially when you have health issues going on, especially when you have those back-to-back seasons so close together. The Clippers, everything's at stake. I mean, it's like we were just forgot already that we were just a couple of years detached from saying, wow, Kawhi and Paul George in LA. The rest of the league is on notice. This is the Clippers' time. They cannot screw this up. They're about to mess this up royally just by going down 0-2. The pressure will be intense. And look, I love Ty Lue. I think he's a heck of a coach. There's a lot of winners in there that just make you wonder, like, why is this not working? This collection, this doesn't seem to be working properly. Ty Lue's a winner. Kawhi Leonard's a winner. Paul George, maybe that's the one that we're just not sure he's the proper piece. But yeah, this could be disastrous for the Clippers if they lose in the first.
See, there you go, man. You tried not to do it. You're doing the same thing the producer did with the text on me this weekend. You basically just called these boys losers. Like, even though we are acknowledging the presence of winners, what you basically said is the Clippers can't win because the Clippers are losers. And unfortunately, I am 40 years old. And that's what the data seems to indicate, right? Like, I'm not talking about y'all as people. Y'all ain't losers as people. I'm sure you are champions in the game of life, but them Clipper suits, those are loser smocks.
Do you buy that Aaron Rodgers never had a problem with Jordan Love?
All right, shout out to the homie Kenny Mayne, did his last Sports Center last night. You want to talk about going out with a bang. The dude had an interview with Marshawn Lynch, and that's the other interview he did because he did one with Aaron Rodgers, where Aaron Rodgers, I mean, kind of got us up to speed on where he's coming from on his little brouhaha with the Packers.
It's never been about, never been about the draft picking Jordan. I love Jordan. He's a great kid. He a lot of fun to work together. I love the coaching staff, love my teammates, love the fan base in Green Bay. It's incredible 16 years. It's just kind of about a philosophy, and maybe forgetting that it is about the people that make the thing go. It's about character. It's about culture. It's about doing things the right way.
For a dude who has a tendency to be a little bit passive aggressive, this was pretty straight ahead, and he made it clear where his problem is. And as it goes to Jordan Love, I don't think he has any problem with Jordan Love, largely because he knows damn well Jordan Love ain't good enough to take his job. Like, if Jordan Love was nipping at his heels, it might be a little different. Like when Joe Montana looked at Steve Young, he knew what time it was. When Aaron Rodgers looks at Jordan Love, he knows, no, the time is not right now. And perhaps his own experience informs this, what happened with Brett Favre. He knows this doesn't have anything to do with Jordan Love. There does not seem to be any misdirected anger from Aaron Rodgers. It is squarely pointed at the suits, and they know it.
Yeah, he's not upset with Jordan Love. It's the idea of drafting Jordan Love. Just the idea of what position he plays. If Jordan Love would be a wide receiver, it'd probably be no issues whatsoever. And I do wonder if this sort of gives him even less leverage in this situation, where it basically just comes down to philosophy. It basically just comes down to, hey, I don't like the way those folks up top are doing things. He could technically be detached, and frankly, it seems like that's what they're trying to do, right? Keep him detached from the front office and still be around all those people that he says he loves, but he just doesn't agree with the way they're building the football team. And so I don't think this becomes a philosophy thing. It's philosophical in terms of, hey, this is how we want to win, but not just philosophical in terms of being a nice person or just how you go about things or treating somebody with respect. That's not going to really get him anywhere. So I'm not sure if this really helps helped much, but it just sort of told you, hey, this is a personal thing. This is Aaron Rodgers saying it's about the people, the people, the people. Okay, well, so it's not about positions, it's not about footballs, it's not about wins and losses, it's about how you're doing something. And I just don't know if that's going to get him any leverage. He's probably going to have to actually sit out before he gets what he wants, which is another place, another location.
Yeah, it's about the people, and he named basically every Green Bay Packer going back to black and white television except their GM, Brian Gutekunst. Like, it became pretty obvious that this was about, as Dominique very lovingly calls him, young Goody, or as I'd like to have him go by, Goody Man LaFleur. Either way, this is a situation that now becomes about one thing. Are the Packers willing to part ways with this guy or not? And it doesn't seem like they are in any position to move. So Aaron Rodgers sitting out OTAs, we've watched and seen. This isn't anything out of the realm of the ordinary. Plenty of disgruntled stars have sat OTAs, plenty have sat in training camp, but Aaron Rodgers seems like the perfect combination of rich and vindictive to actually make this uncomfortable in the way the Packers are going to have to answer for come the real games at the start of this season, going all the way back to Bomani's point, because he knows in his heart of heart, eventually Green Bay is going to learn what life looks like without him on the field, and we have heard from Matt LaFleur, their head coach, the pleas of a man who knows how much of his early success here has been about one player being on the field. I think everybody knows the situation here. And so it's going to be which side blinks first. And it feels like Aaron Rodgers has most of the momentum to get the Packers to be the ones to do it.
Also, of note, when he talked about philosophy, what he's talking about is not something that can be solved by trading for Julio Jones, right? Like, we've talked about this all the time where it's about, whether they draft, what they use their draft picks for and everything else and putting weapons around them and so forth and so on. No, it seems like we've gone past that point, and that's what's bad for the Packers. Because if it was just about a matter of get me some things, you can go get some things. He's like, no, your heart is rotten. What are you going to do, get a new one?
Up next on HQ.
Is basketball the worst sport to have the ball go through your legs on? Because I feel like you can get 5-hold as a goalie in any of the goalie sports, or you can get in baseball.
The
Buckner.
Bill Buckner is here to say, no, it could, in fact, be worse.
Highly Questionable is brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need.
Do you question if this was bad defense?
All right. Blazers Nuggets last night. My man Jokic, the soon-to-be MVP, put up an easy 38, even though it never feels like any of those three-pointers are going to go in when they come off his hand. I can't understand anything about it. Anyway, we have a clip of Campazzo, who I'll be honest, I hadn't heard of until very recently, and he plays a lot of minutes for them. Look at this. Oh, man. McCollum out here getting disrespected by guys he had never heard of before. That's got to hurt.
You know what's one of the most interesting or fun things in the NBA is 30-year-old rookies like Campazzo from Europe. Like, they're come in with their game. It is established. It's probably got some flair in there. And it's, hey, I made the NBA at 30, so I'm just going to do whatever I want to do while I'm here. And you get passes like that. It's always fun to watch.
And like you mentioned, that is all a unique cocktail to go ahead and piss people off, because CJ McCollum later on in that game was shoving Buddy in the middle of a set as they were getting ready to inbound things. So that is a unique cocktail of aggravation that clearly got to Portland's second best player.
That game is he's got wildly chippy. Like, Melo had the thing where he pushed, was it Jokic that he just pushed down to the ground on the screen and roll? I mean, this is going to be a very interesting one because Dame was on fire, but Portland can't guard us. I mean, the us you see right here, they got just the 3. They can have 5.
I do have a question, though, when it comes to the nutmeg. How offensive or disrespectful is it really? Like, you're not supposed to play defense with your legs closed, right? You're supposed to play defense and be in a defensive position. So if somebody happens to take advantage of that, are you doing the wrong thing? No, it's not like they're bouncing the ball off your head and then passing it. They're just going where the space is. Do you think it's disrespectful?
All I'm asking is, how often do you see that happen to somebody that the other player respects? That's all I'm saying. You think he's trying that on LeBron? I don't think he's trying that on LeBron.
You think Campazzo's sitting out here disrespecting C.J. McCollum? Those are two different level of player. You think he's really doing that?
I mean, when C.J. McCollum's on defense, I feel like he and Campazzo got to feel kind of similar. Like, there's no reason in the world for Campazzo to see C.J. McCollum and be like, oh, he's going to lock me up. No.
Yeah. Probably not going to nutmeg Kawhi. You're right.
No.
Is basketball the worst sport to have the ball go through your legs on? Because I feel like you can get 5-hold as a goalie in any of the goalie sports, or you can get in baseball. The Buckner.
Bill Buckner is here to say, no, it could, in fact, be worse. Although the most disrespectful thing I have ever seen is he halfway alluded to it which is the rookie sophomore game that year when Jason Richardson threw the ball off Carlos Boozer's face and hit a 3 right on him. Like, we got to fight right now.
Absolutely.
We have to fight right now.
Do you question if we should already be paying attention to Devin Hesters' son?
I admit, I think it's a little weird the way we get into it and talk so much about these athletes and their kids and what they're going to do. They should be able to live and just run around and stuff like this. But you tell me Devin Hester has a kid that's playing football, and I just want to see how it turned out. Can I see how it turned out? They say he's 8 or 9. Oh. My God.
Oh.
Why does your helmet have a shield, 8 or 9-year-old?
Yo, he's got a production company, okay? These aren't highlight films. This is a movie, okay?
Whoa!
Wait, they let you pass at that age?
If you're him.
Wow. I am turning off everything that says how absurd it is that children this age are playing tackle football, like how big those helmets are compared to the rest of their bodies, because that is incredible. Like, he is not playing tackle football because nobody is tackling him. Right?
Yeah,
he's just running around.
Him. Nobody's touching him. He knows he's this good too. He's got the swag. He's got dance. I mean, his dad set him up. You can just forego middle school, forego high school. Let's just prepare you for what you're meant to.
Yo, the thing that's interesting about this is normally, like, when we see the pros kids out there, it's because they're just so much bigger than everybody else is. That's not what's going on here. How are you that age and you already got vision, right? Like, he's already seeing what's going on for the whole field.
I generally think that we've gone way too far and, like, offering kids super young and doing that whole thing. It's kind of been corrosive for sports in a lot of ways. Go ahead and just slide that one across the table right now and say, young man, whenever you're ready.
Tonight at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, Game 2, Celtics and Nets.
Yeah, I'm in on this. The Celtics got thumped in game 1, really the second half. The Nets just came to life. We are 1 game away from Kyrie Irving burning sage in Boston Garden, where there may actually be people there. Whew, that'll get cantankerous. But let's get a look at what Kyrie did to Evan Fournier.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God.
I mean, look, man. Kyrie is probably the best ball handler of all time. Oh, man.
Oh.
See, this is the thing about it, man. You got to know who you are. I ain't going for the second move. If you go right, I'm going right. If you go back left, I'm going right, even if I got to run all the way to my chair. You ain't about to embarrass me in front of my mom. Is you intrigued?
And when I fall down, I'm just going to stay down. I'm probably going to grab something and just hope that, like, they buy it, because Fournier got back up and just looked a fool again. Yeah, I'm very much intrigued. This is where I've landed with the Nets here. I really, really, really want to see the peak Nets during this playoffs. I don't know how long it's going to last. I just want to see it, because you look at the other conference, you're like, oh, is Anthony Davis healthy? Is LeBron healthy? Are these players going to... This team is finally healthy. I want to see what it looks like. So, yes, I'm watching every Nets game from here on out.
Golic, what you got?
Yeah, I'm intrigued. Shout out to Tristan Thompson for going early to the well of cliches and saying that they put their socks and shoes on just like the rest of us. Yeah, Tristan, the problem is when they do, they're still that. And Kevin Durant. And he's the last of the 3 in that group. So, yeah, good luck with that one. They put their socks and shoes on, and they're their shoes.
If he said that, he may as well have just told us, we about to lose. All I heard in those words, this dude has a championship ring, and he's out here talking about gold 10 feet just like it is in Hickory. Nah, man, y'all gonna lose.
Tonight at 9:38 p.m. Eastern, Rangers and Angels.
All right, if you're curious about any other players singing the praises of Shohei Ohtani, Marcus Stroman says he checks his phone every night to see what Ohtani did. It's the most incredible baseball player that he has ever seen. And we're going to get a look at him in action. It's not a home run this time. Here we go.
Was that ball in his armpit before he hit it? Like, good
Oh, my
God.
Oh, that's a double.
Wow, he legged it out.
How is that a double? So he's fast too.
Wow.
Wow, man. They're still not good. I feel like I shouldn't say this every time, but it's not to shade him. It's just, how are y'all not good? Izzy, are you intrigued?
I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to watch him, not the rest of the team. I'm trying to think of the only guy that I can think of that I used to do that with. Whenever I'm done with work, go check my phone. It was Jason Williams. White chocolate Jason Williams, when he got to Sacramento, would do that every single night with him.
Izzy, we didn't have highlights on our phone back then. You were really just checking the box score on Jason
Wow,
Williams.
you're right.
Okay,
No,
yeah. Yeah, oh, that's
I was finding highlights.
Yes.
I was going to Sports Center. That's what it was.
That's alma mater loyalty. Golic, you intrigued?
I am intrigued, and I just watched Fernando Tatis Jr. hit a grand slam and put on a 6.5-pound chain, and I would still tune in to see this guy over that at this point.
Yeah, nothing topping a 6.5-pound chain. All right, that is our show. Find Izzy Gutierrez somewhere wearing a clever t-shirt near you. Mike Golic, 4 to 7, ESPN Radio, Chennai and Golic. Check it out.
The Right Time with Bomani Jones, wherever you get your podcast. Who says no one loves you, Bo?
There we go. I don't know what I'm doing right now.
That looks like something people would expect me to do.